She smiled while saying it, like it was nothing. My daughter-in-law stood in my kitchen and announced, 200 guests will arrive tomorrow. No question. No pause. Just a statement that landed heavier than any slap. I looked around my home, the same home I built brick by brick, and felt something crack inside me. This wasn't excitement. This wasn't family pride. This was invasion. She had already printed invitations, already planned decorations, already decided my house was hers to display. My son avoided my eyes. The walls felt smaller. The air felt thin. I nodded slowly, not because I agreed, but because I needed time. Time to think. Time to remember who paid every bill, who signed every paper, who owned every corner of this place. She thought I was trapped by manners. She thought silence meant weakness. That night, while she celebrated her perfect plan, I made a quiet decision that would change the next day forever completely. The house had rules before she entered my family. Respect was one of them. Years ago, when my son married her, I welcomed her warmly. I gave her keys, space, and trust. Slowly, things shifted. She rearranged rooms without asking. She spoke over me at dinners. She called it confidence. I called it erosion. When my husband passed, this house became my anchor. Every photo, every scratch on the floor carried memory. My daughter-in-law saw something else. She saw a stage. She saw status. Hosting 200 guests wasn't about celebration. It was about showing off. When I finally asked why no one consulted me, she laughed and said, "It's family, Mom." That word, family, used like a weapon. My son stayed silent again. Silence became his habit. That night I didn't sleep. I walked room to room, touching walls, counting years, realizing something important. Kindness had slowly been mistaken for permission. That realization frightened me more than anger did. Morning arrived louder than usual. Cars lined the street before sunrise. Delivery trucks blocked my driveway. My daughter-in-law floated through the chaos, smiling, directing strangers like servants. She never once looked at me. When caterers asked where to set tables, she answered without hesitation. My name was never mentioned. That was when I understood. This wasn't forgetfulness. This was erasure. I stepped outside and saw neighbors watching, curious, confused. My chest tightened, but my voice stayed calm. I asked my daughter-in-law to speak privately. She rolled her eyes. "Not now," she said. Something hardened inside me. I walked back into the house, opened a drawer, and pulled out documents I hadn't touched in years. Deeds. Permits. Insurance papers. Proof. The house hummed with noise, laughter, entitlement. No one noticed me moving quietly toward the front door, papers in hand, ready to reclaim what was mine. I opened the door and raised my voice, not in anger, but in clarity. The music stopped. Conversations froze. I introduced myself, not as host, but as owner. Faces shifted. My daughter-in-law laughed nervously until I held up the deed. Silence fell hard. I explained calmly that no event had permission to happen here. That legally, ethically, this gathering was unauthorized. Her smile collapsed. My son finally spoke, but it was too late. I asked everyone to leave. Slowly, painfully, they did. Decorations came down. Food went untouched. The house breathed again. My daughter-in-law stared at me like a stranger. I told her this home was not a prop, and respect was not optional. She left without another word. The door closed. For the first time in years, the quiet felt powerful, not lonely. I stood still, heart racing, realizing boundaries once enforced change everything forever, even when family resists them fiercely at first with shock and disbelief inside out. That day rewrote my place in my own life. I didn't lose my family. I lost an illusion. In the weeks that followed, conversations changed. Apologies came quietly. My daughter-in-law never hosted another event in my home. My son learned that silence has consequences. As for me, I learned something sharper than anger. Power doesn't need shouting. It needs timing. Respect isn't demanded. It's enforced. If you are watching this feeling small in your own space, remember this. Kindness should never erase ownership. Love should never cancel boundaries. The moment you stand up, the world adjusts. 200 guests taught me that lesson. My home remained mine. And so did my voice. I carry that lesson daily, knowing dignity survives only when protected by courage and action. It was painful, necessary, and freeing in ways I never expected. Some mistakes reveal strength, and some invitations reveal who truly belongs. When respect returns, peace follows, slowly but permanently homeward at last.